all started with a video shared by Gwendoline Macron and this one question: does it heal your soul? Gwendoline is part of a women's circle I'm also part of, put together by Christine Kier, that I believe is my long-lost tribe, by the way. In this video, Gwendoline shares with us how she moved closer to nature and the loss of her mother. The question, does it heal your soul, comes from her. I moved to Marseille in south of France 2 months ago, give or take. Why Marseille? Because my jewel maker, I own an online jewelry shop, link in the description, and a dear friend of mine were there. And I figured after 4 years in Ireland, and before moving to Sweden in the spring, an extended sun exposure wouldn't hurt. Turns out, while the sun didn't do me any harm, living in the city, that city specifically, did. Eventually, I had a meltdown. For days, I was just moving from the couch to my bed, back and forth. Not doing much else, but trying to process what was happening. I could feel the call to go now, but I just started things down here. Was I really going to stop it all? I mean, I just got an internet subscription and just launched my jewelry business. I was resisting. Hard. I was in bed, lying on my stomach, when watching Gwendoline's video. As you may guess, I was very emotional already. But I heard this sentence, does it heal your soul? And I literally burst into tears. Right there, lying on my stomach, cheek on the pillow. Tears flowing. Then followed about an hour and a half of tears and a long voice message left in English to my close ones, basically saying, I can't do this anymore. I don't have the energy to fight anymore. I'm sick of the city and of France. I need to go to Sweden. I miss it too much. Then, followed by a call with my mom, also in English. It was a big deal for me. I never said such words in such a state. And I've been on stage. And yet, I was afraid to disappoint people for bailing on what I had just started here in Marseille. However, they all said the same thing. Go, Adélie, you won't disappoint us. You've been talking about moving to Sweden forever. Just go as soon as possible. I needed time to land in that. Yet again, new shift. Little did I know, I still had a lot of skin shedding left to do. More experiences were yet to come to help me understand that if you want to stop wasting your time, the best thing you had to do was to be authentic. True to who you are and want to be. This is the biggest gift and respect to all. The only right path in life is the one that brings you joy. No joy in your life? Then it's an indication to change course. An invitation. So I did. I made a decision to leave. And a few days ago, I booked my no-return flight to Stockholm, Sweden. Yes, in the dead of winter, whilst I originally wanted to arrive in the spring, but we're past that. Patience uplifts safety. And boy, have I been patient. I waited 8 years to return to what I consider my homeland, Sweden. I have a true love relationship with this country. It's like I met Sweden for the first time 8 years ago, and after some long-distance dating for 8 years, we decided to move in together. So yeah, it was about time. Make no mistake, I am a little scared. I have no savings, no rented apartment. I don't have a plan B, not even sure I have a plan A, actually. I just know that now is the time. Before moving back to France, the plan was to leave for Sweden in September, so at the end of the day, I'll still make it before the end of the year, 2021. And I think this is what matters. Start the new year in the country that I want to settle in. In life, the deeper you go, the lighter you need to be. That's a sentence I said in my dream 2 nights ago. It actually makes sense. The deeper you want to go within yourself, the more shedding and weight you need to get rid of. And by doing so, become lighter. It took me on a path that I will cover in a future video. Finally, yesterday, I was at the women's circle I previously mentioned, and I decided to share this video. And in the future, to share more of my daily life and rituals. I was doubtful at first because I wasn't sure where to begin. I am fire, Sun Aries and rising Leo for those who are curious, so fire is my BFF. You don't shape fire like you do air, earth or water. How do you tame and give structure to fire? How do I give shape to all I want to share? Because I have a lot to offer. My inner world and my life are so rich. I also need to be honest and face the obvious. My cup is full, and I need to empty it by sharing. Especially because to me, authenticity equals vulnerability equals freedom. Well, eventually I realized that the knowing comes with the doing. So I'm going to do and figure it out as I go. Plus, that's what I do. I go places and I create momentum. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe, drop a like, share and comment if any of this spoke to you or if you think it's going to speak to someone. Because I still have to play this game called YouTube if I want to reach out to more people. So if you could help me do that, I would highly appreciate it. Okay, so now that I have a full teapot, we can begin. Hello ladies, and no, I won't say gentlemen, because there is a lady in each of us, even you guys. Especially you, actually. Okay, so we are gathered here today because there is a few things I would like to share with you. So to start off, we are just out of the Halloween period, entering Christmas period, and Christmas time. Okay, so we are just out of Halloween time and, atmosphere. And I'm part of a women's circle that was, what's the word? That was started by Kristen Kier. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, Kristen, if I mispronounce it. And I joined a month ago, right after the first circle started. So a few days ago, there was my first circle. It was amazing, by the way. And on this women's circle, we have a forum, and on this forum, one of us asked a question in relation to Halloween. So I'm going to answer them first. And I will keep it short because the rest of the video is going to be quite long. But I really wanted to answer those questions here on video because they will definitely give you a sense of who I am and where I'm coming from. So we get to know each other a little better. And if you relate to anything that I say, please drop it in the comments. I would be more than happy to read them and to exchange with you, really. So the first question was, how do you celebrate Halloween? And what does it mean to you? So, to start off, I come from a long line of witches. Yes. My mom is even a red hair. And she has a black cat. So I can't even deny it. Even if I wanted to, I can't deny it. And I may not look like much with my short hair and, just regular clothes, but I'm very much a witch. I will insert just a picture right here. Right now, so you can see what I look like with the long hair, which is what I'm going to go back to month by month. So anyway, yeah, I come from a long line of witches. So we used to be, you know, those women who would cure and heal people with herbs in the forest, for, you know, like a chicken or some potatoes or whichever goods we could exchange our services for. And we were definitely part of the, you know, witches that would burnt at the stake. But that's okay. I'm personally kind of past that. I'm just, you know, doing my best to not focus on this too much. I mean, as my teacup says, all we have is now. Okay, anyway, so to me, Halloween and Samhain, because actually people would pronounce Samhain, but actually it's Samhain. It's an Irish word, and I lived for 4 years in Ireland, so I've learned a few stuff. And to me, this time of the year is very, very precious, because it's a time really to go very deep inside, and you're allowed to. In a way, it's like you have no obligations. I know many of us, well, of you guys, or I don't know, people outside will just go out and party because the US sort of, you know, rubbed off on European style. But to me, Halloween and Samhain, I'm gonna say Halloween, just so you wouldn't get lost. It's an occasion to, you know, just reconnect to yourself and black out everything outside. So basically, the way I just go for in Halloween is I don't party anymore. I used to, because, you know, when I was like 10 years ago, it was cool and it was an occasion to go out and party and hook up, let's face it. But every time, almost every time, it was a complete dud. It was kind of sad, actually. So first, when I was a child, it was very fun because it was friends and candies and, you know, just scary stories. It was fine. But as I grew up, it really much became an excuse for me to just retrieve on my own cave and have my own space and, you know, write, journal, and do the rituals that I need to. It's just an excuse to be alone with myself, and having the best time. You know, having a healing bath, burning stuff, writing down other stuff. And also because I have to admit, I'm also a little scared of what I could be finding outside. Because at this time of the year, people tend to go crazy, and I kind of had some bad experiences. So I just, you know, stay in my safe space. I stay in my womb and, you know, just do my witchy stuff, basically. So to me, Halloween is more than just a pagan celebration ceremony. It's more than partying with people. To me, Halloween, it's a way to honor myself, and by doing so, honoring my lineage. It's a way of, I think, paying tribute to the darkness that called upon the light to rise. I know, clap, clap, clap. Beautiful, beautiful praising, I know. But what I mean by that is that, as actually a very bad guy said in Star Wars, darkness rises and the light to meet it. So I think it's just a very interesting time, Halloween, because in a way, by putting on disguises and tricking people, I think it's a way for humanity to explore darkness without having to, you know, feel bad for society, because it's allowed. It's part of the, you know, it's part of the fun. So it's sort of got normalized to explore this darkness, which I think is fine. But to me, Halloween is just a way to retrieve in my cave, basically. And soon it will be to retrieve in my cabin in the woods in Sweden. So yeah, so what does it mean? Well, just that. It means that delving into your own darkness. And this whole story about the thinning of the veil is very much true, but it's not just true with the spirit that may roam outside, it's also true with yourself. So it's thinning the veil with yourself. Because we live underneath so much layers of veils that our mission is to lift those veils. And actually, note for you guys and ladies. It's that apocalypse, the apocalypse, literally translate into the lifting of the veil. So it's not the end of the world, the apocalypse. The apocalypse is actually just a shift of perception. It's a complete shift, a change. And it happens by the lifting of the veil and watching the truth face to face. And then she asked another question. What's the stories of the holiday in your country and family? Okay, so I kind of touched on that without wanting to. So in my country, I'm from France, and we kind of lost touch with the pagan original roots of the celebration. I'm gonna be honest, French people can be a bit boring, I find. That's my personal thing. They will celebrate, but they will celebrate in a very American way, if they do. But we don't make such a big fuss about it. It's not huge, especially here. I'm in Marseille right now. It's not really present, but if I were to be in Brittany, for example, or further north in France, we will have more presence of that heritage. But I will have to say it would be more the case in Brittany, where I am from, on my mom's side, because that's where the heritage and the legacy is more present. So there would be a different flavor to it. It would be a way. It's an opportunity to connect more to the pagan roots of the land and the culture. So the Celts, history flash news. I studied them a little bit when I was in Sweden, and even before and after that, I've always been fascinated with Celtic lore and Swedish, Nordic, Scandinavian lore. But we will go back into this another time on another video. But since we're talking about Halloween, I just wanted to mention that the Celts originally were found around Switzerland, although we do not know where they came from exactly, because they just popped up in Switzerland. All of a sudden, archaeologists started to find, remains and artifacts from that time and this culture, but we don't know where they traveled from. They just literally just popped up on the map. And then the Romans, so the Celts really just spread in Europe and all the way through Eastern Europe, France, actually even Spain, northern Spain, Galicia, a little bit of Italy as well. And then the Roman Empire rose, and they chased them all the way to Brittany and the British Isles. And this is why, in particular, in those areas, the culture is very more vibrant and very much alive. And this is why when I was living in Ireland and celebrating Halloween, to me has a whole different vibe and flavor, and it was just so beautiful. I could tell you one time, not now, because again it's going to take ages. I have so many stories to share with you guys, I don't even know where to begin. Especially because the way I see things is that everything is connected. So when I start talking about something else, then poof, I will link it to something else. So it never ends. Anyway, bear with me, please. So bottom line, France, it's not so much of a big thing. In Brittany, yes. And yes, being from Brittany, I do distinguish Brittany from France. It's like Northern Ireland and Ireland are two different worlds. Same here. And for my family, as I was saying earlier, we don't have a family celebration in relation to this per se. And then my mom would just probably do the same as me because she probably passed on to me this sort of fear of people roaming wild outside. So she's not a big fan. She's okay, but she's not very big on the partying and going crazy side of the celebration. But she would definitely, as I do, light up a candle for, the deceased and every lost soul that could find their way. But to give you an example, the way I celebrated it this year, I actually did a reel on my Instagram, Adélie Williams, link below. I started by, what did I start by? So I watched Coco, the Disney movie, Pixar movie. Very beautiful. I cried, and it was very dead on with the family topic that was my Halloween this year. And then I journaled a little bit, and I burned stuff. I took a healing bath, and I also put some crystals near the windows to, you know, just ward off and welcome spirits. So I used quartz and labradorite, I think. Sorry, I don't have the word for this one. I used tiger eye, and what else did I use? I think I had onyx, I believe. Yes, onyx. But you know what? I think if I start diving into how I spend my Halloween evening, it will take another 10 minutes. So if you're interested into me properly talking to you about how I spent my Halloween this year, I'll make a video. If you just let me know in the comments, I'll be happy to. So I think that's all for this little chat for today, because now you may have wondered, what is this weird glass container with ashes in it? What is that? It's been sitting all the time, and I'm sure you've been looking at it the whole time I was talking. And this is the ashes from a ritual that I did yesterday. We were the 8th of November, today it's the 9th, 2021. In case you're watching this video, I don't know, 10 years from now. And YouTube doesn't show the dates anymore. So yeah, so ashes from that ritual that you will be having the joy to discover in a few minutes when I finish rambling. Honestly, I could talk to you like this for hours. I would love to do some more videos where I just tell you my stories like this, you know, like a face-to-face cozy chat with a nice teacup in your hand. Talking about rituals, talking about my life anecdotes. I have so many, guys, literally so many. You have no idea. And that's another topic I'm going to touch on at the end of the video, just to, you know, let you know that I have so much to share. I'm not sure I know where to begin, but you know, the best remedy and the best answer you can have in life to your questions is just to take action. So here, me, taking action. So I'm going to leave you guys here. I'm going to finish my teapot while finishing editing this video, and I'm going to let you discover what happens with this, and what's in it, and where it's coming from. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Spoiler. I'll let you know into the next video. So anyway, enjoy, guys.